As you really work on bringing people together around things they really care about, you're going to start to encounter some of the core dynamics of building shared visions. This term, shared vision, is often really misunderstood. In fact, what often happens in organizations all the time, maybe you've lived through this, someone up here says, hey, let me tell you about what our vision is. And just because they say it, it becomes the shared vision, which of course isn't true at all. It's one person's vision using their position of authority to act as if it's a shared vision. But in fact, shared visions are real. And you've probably all heard that phrase, there's nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come. It's a beautiful articulation of the power of real shared visions. So in any innovation process, this is part of the territory you're working on. And we found over the years there's a couple of basics that if people can start to get it, it really helps them a lot. The first is, there is always this interplay between the personal vision and the shared vision. To put it bluntly, if there are no personal visions, forget shared vision. Really shared vision, not a facade, but the reality of shared vision. Because what brings people to work each day, what inspires them, is their own vision. Personal visions are sort of like the soil nutrients out of which you grow something called a shared vision. So you really are always in this territory of engaging people, talking about what they care about, and then looking for ways that this can be aligned and assembled and put together so there's something we're actually collectively caring about. The one other thing we found very helpful that people, once they start to understand, is that diversity is actually part of shared vision. If you go and ask everybody what's the vision, everybody uses the exact same words. I will tell you something, that is not a shared vision. People have memorized the correct words to talk about the vision. They're reciting the catechism, so to speak. They're not actually expressing something they're committed to. But by contrast, there is a whole that can start to emerge in a shared vision. And the simplest way to understand that whole we've found over the years is just to ponder, how does a hologram work? We've all seen the hologram, these three-dimensional images, which are quite remarkable. You kind of walk around the side and look at it, and you actually see it from a different angle, and you walk around here. It really does appear to be three-dimensional. And in fact, though, the physics of it, it's being projected on a plate, on a two-dimensional surface. And the interesting thing about a hologram that really is instructive in understanding shared vision is if you take that surface and you cut it in half, and you look at that half, you see the whole image, whatever that hologram is showing. You cut it in half again, so you've now got a quarter of that plate. You see the whole image. It's completely different than a photograph that way. If you cut a photograph in half, you see half the photograph. You cut it in a quarter, you see a quarter of the photograph. But a hologram, you don't. You see the whole of it. But you actually see it from a slightly different point of view. It'll still seem three-dimensional, but it's actually more limited. It's from a particular point of view. It's a little bit like if you pull a screen down over a window, you poke a hole in the screen, you see everything on the other side of that screen, but you see it from that point of view. If you look at a hole over here, you see it from another point of view. So shared visions are a little bit paradoxical in this sense. It really is about a whole, different people kind of holding a whole. That whole is the shared vision. But it's also about them seeing it from their unique point of view. It's not about repressing or covering up the fact that I see it this way and you see it this way and you see it this way. So how do you know there actually is a shared vision? It's pretty simple. You watch if people are actually acting in a way that's bringing about something in the whole. There can be plenty of conflict. There can be obviously lots of differences between what people see, how I articulate my vision of an innovative school, how you do. That's all different because we have different points of view. But when it comes to action, there is a coherence to it. We're actually able to work together to bring it about. That's what you're really after in a shared vision. Not everybody's saying the same words.